Namaste everyone, and welcome to another premiere of our Friday afternoon class. And this one will be kind of the final week that we really consolidate the three treasures, and then we're going to start consolidating the exercises we've done so far, bring them all together and develop them onto a new sequence and flow. So find yourself a comfortable seated or standing position and find what feels good. We'll go through our usual warming up the body. So let's get them wrists nice and flexed. You can start becoming aware of your feet on the floor. Really flex them fingers out. Drop the elbows, dropping the shoulders. Let's open up the elbows a few times one way and a few times the other. Let's open up them shoulder joints, back to the hands face forward and then behind. You can bring in a bit of a wave through the spine as well, if that feels good. Just circling, loosening up, letting the upper arm and the shoulder bring the lower arms, so the lower arms are just moving because of the upper arms. We're not focusing on the movement down here, we're bringing it all from the shoulders. Let's release any tension or tightness you might have in your shoulders with a gentle tap if that feels good for you, or you can give them a bit of a rub. I've been very aware of these points the last few days, my shoulders, and we've had a bit of rain where we are, so there's that tendency as the weather cools from this really warm spell to a cooler spell to hunch those shoulders back up. So let's release any tension or tightness from the shoulders, perhaps giving them a bit of a tap, a bit of a shake. Right, let's move on to our neck. So everyone can warm up their neck at their own pace, always remembering to keep a nice long neck, lifting in the crown, imagining an opposition line right the way from the base all the way to the crown, and then perhaps just turning one side and the other, always at a pace that feels right for your neck, looking up and down, just so that we've got their movements in. And then we will open up now with our final movement, which is the stork spreads its feathers to take the lift in the crown. Imagine an opposition line from the fingertips to the crown. We're going to open the side neck now and the top of that shoulder, that point where we've just been tapping. Breathing into the abdomen and really feeling them shoulders, the shoulder blades dropping down the back body, maintaining that lift in the crown. If it feels okay for you to roll the neck to the front, into the other side. Again, imagine an opposition line between those fingertips and the neck, maintaining that length in the neck. And bringing the breath to release any tension or tightness in the top of your shoulder. Loosen up the side of that neck. It's a nice one to do if you've been doing a lot on the computer or the laptops. Give them wrists a bit of a flick. And let's open up them hips and the side body. So I'm going to take our hands on our hips. Imagine being stationary. You've got a pole going from the crown to the tailbone. So as it's like a spinning top, as the hips go one way, it's like the crown goes slightly the other. It's a very small movement, but we're just trying to open up the waist, the side body, and we're feeling that spiraling, whether we're sitting down. In fact, we'll do a few times for this one. If you're seated or standing, imagining that spiraling going right the way down from the toes, from the heels, from the middle of the foot all the way up. Imagine that spiraling like the helix of DNA or your bones. Just bringing that spiraling energy into the body. So let's open it up a little bit further. In fact, we'll do a little bit of silk reeling to open the back and the spine, and then we'll go on to our teacups. So let's do a little bit of just opening our usual silk reeling, where we've got that wave coming. For those that haven't done this, feet shoulder width apart, and we're just sinking slightly from the tailbone, and then the hips go back as the chest goes forward, and as the hips come forward, chest goes back. So we're feeling a nice wave just coming up from the feet all the way up the body, just to get a bit of opening through the front and back of the spine. feeling that wave. And we can make it a little bit more subtle, just sink the tailbone. And this time, instead of taking the neck forward, we're imagining just lifting. We're imagining breathing into and opening up right where the cranial base meets the skull. That information highway. Righty ho. So let's get our teacups on. So today we're going to do our teacup to the side. So we're going to take one arm like we did as a kid. If you sang the nursery rhyme, I'm a little teacup. And this time, so you're going to imagine you've got a cup of tea in your palm. And we're going to bring that forward, trying to keep it nice and upright. So you've got kind of a dome slightly in your palm, you're cupping that. You're going to bring it to your side. You're going to take it behind you. Bring it round. And we're going to take the hips to the side, and that's what's going to help us to keep that teacup nice and level as it comes over the head. So again, we're going to bring it into the side, take it round behind us, keeping that level nice and steady. And then we're going to take the hip to the side, and that's going to help us bring it round over the head. And this time you might want to add your hips. So we're going to move the hips to the opposite side, which makes space. We're going to take it behind, so the hips go back as the arm goes back. And then as the arm comes round and over the head, the hips go forward. So again, we've got that space at the side, hips go back, hips follow with the arm, and as it goes over the head, the hips go forward. Final time to this side. Keeping a nice lift in the crown. And then we're going to bring that arm in. Take it to the other side, and again keeping that cup nice and upright. We'll start with the arm movement, bringing it into the side, pushing it away behind you, bringing it around to the front, taking the hip to the side over the head. Again, nice little bit of space, bringing in them hips, so we've got that spaciousness. Bringing it round. I've lost my thread and my flow. There we go. Got the space, take the hips back as it goes back. They're flowing with each other, hips forward, arm over. And this time, let's try and test your brain. Let's see if you can do the opposite. So let's get that one arm going. And bring in your hips. So the hips are kind of following the arm, got the space, hips go back, arm goes back, hips go to the side, arm goes to the side. Hips go forward, arm goes back, over and behind. Right, and once we've got that movement, we're going to take that opposite arm with our palm facing upright. And this time, when the arm goes over, we've got a gap now, you'll see, to take this one in and behind. This arm's carrying on, so that goes forward. So the arms cross over, there's our gap to place this one through as that arm goes over, hips are forward. So we see if we can bring in that spiral through the whole body with the arms doing different things. Be patient with yourself with this one, and we can go the opposite way as well. So again, get that first movement going. This one can take a little bit of practice. And always remembering that the arm comes through where there's a gap in the side, the hips go back as the arm goes behind. And this one is great for just grounding, bringing yourself fully into the body, having a bit of a laugh and bringing them spirals into the whole body. So now let's take them palms, flip them down, push to the bottom corners of the room. Let's get a final stretch. Lifting at the crown on either side, just releasing the top of that shoulder and shake it out. So a bit of a test for you this morning. Now let's just open the side spine a little bit. So hands on the hips, and we're just going to go from side to side, just get a bit of opening. Imagine you've got a pane of glass in front and behind you. This one opens the reptilian spine, opens the spine side to side. Keeping a nice lift in the crown. Imagine that opposition line between the tailbone and the crown, just for some integrity. And let's open up the side body a little bit. Let's just take them arms up. Oh, and stretch them down and round. Again. In fact, let's take them arms up. Just take them to one side. Lift and take them to the other. Now this is one that you can do. Open up, literally to open the body side to side. Again, so it's that opening, the side to side movement, this time the pane of glass before and behind you. And this one you can then turn to stretch over at the sides. I just wanted to give both variations for people that are seated and standing, so you can have a play with them before your practices and see what feels best for you. So let's move on to, we've done our hips, we've done our waist, let's get a bit of movement into that lower body. So bring in some awareness. In fact, we'll just give a gentle tap, wake up the hips, wake up the inner legs a little bit, the tops of the legs. Just bring a bit of alertness, awareness to the glutes. And we're going to just tap down the outside of the leg. Take a few breaths. Tapping's a good one for just enlivening the body, releasing tension and tightness, and bringing a bit of wakefulness. And this is one you can do whether you're seated or standing. So hopefully they're a little bit warmer for our first exercise. Now, don't panic, this one's a bit of a squat. For those of you seated, you can follow along with just the upper body movement and moving as far forward as feels comfortable. So we're going to take our fingers. We're not quite fully tiger claw for this one, but imagine you're like gripping a wall. You're trying to climb your way up the wall. And this one is called Tiger Crouches in the Grass. So we've got our feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart, or even wider. So I prefer a slightly wider stance. It feels more comfortable for me to open my hips up and get down a bit more, because the aim is to try and keep the the spine nice and upright, keep a slight lift in the neck, so we've got that full integrity, and we're just focusing on warming up this lower body. So, and it's also purging. We're going to clear out some energy while we do it. So let's get our tiger claws, and we're going to scrape up the body, and then we're going to breathe out with an audible sigh. Breathing in, breathing in. And you can hinge forward at the hip so it doesn't place all the tension or tightness on the knees. And the aim for this one can be to get the knees, the hips lower than the knees as you're coming down. But find what feels good for your body and take it at pace. So that may be that the squat is just this gentle upper body, and then you're leaning straight far forward. Meet your body where it's at and slowly build it up. So clean out them gutters, scraping up through the body. It's like a rake, raking leaves, clearing out the internal organs. Bit of release. Okay, so, and then if you want a bit of additional stretch, we can end this one. So we come to prayer posture and we keep that back nice and upright. Now, if you can't go down particularly far, you might just want to hinge at the hips at this point and just balance the arms on the legs. For those with a bit more of an active lower body practice, you can come down and as upright as you can, bringing them arms in between the knees and bringing the arms ultimately to a straight line, but meet your body where it's at. Don't overextend on the hips or the legs. Find what feels doable and comfortable. The aim of this one is just to wake up the lower body, to open the hips a little bit, and also to bring a bit of awareness, a bit of warmth to this part of the body. For those of you that are seated even, you can just meet your body where it's at. You can rub and just feel the warmth in this part of your body. So find what works for you. So let's have a nice bit of a shake out. And finally, let's open up them ankles before we flow. Really flex your toes as well. One we don't want to forget, they take so much weight. so much possible for us. Bit of attention awareness for the feet and the ankles. Especially if you've been on your feet a lot, you've been running or doing any active exercises, give them ankles and them feet a bit of love. Shake into the front, the side and the back. So let's shake the tree. We'll go to our Wuji and we will do our 3 treasures flow. Hopefully it's feeling a bit more natural for you now. So for those of you that haven't done this before, we kind of get into our Wuji stance, which is feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart. We're sinking slightly in the tailbone, so we've got a slight bend in the knee where we felt that warmth in them upper legs. We've got our arms, we can just gently relax the arms so the elbows are soft. We've got the shoulders nice and soft, and we're just going to bounce up and down from there. Letting the hands, the wrists, the fingertips really flick. And this is just to release any final tension or tightness and get the energy moving through the whole of our body. You can imagine how this might support the circulation, get that blood moving through the whole body, and yet we're trying to be very gentle with this one. So the more gentle and subtle the movement, the longer you can sustain it without feeling a sense of effort or tension, because the aim is to release tension and tightness. So now if you notice any areas in the body that are tense or tight, the shoulders, the neck, the chest, the abdomen, if you've been feeling pent up tension or anxieties, we're just letting everything dissolve out. If you've been out in the garden recently, doing sports, any tightness you notice in the body, just let it gently release. For anyone experiencing any emotional waves recently, you can just bring the arms up above the head, link them palms, which links our heart point. Just get that heart nice and open. Imagine releasing any emotions. Final time. This moon cycle has been quite an emotional one. I've certainly felt it. I've noticed it in the world around me, so give that heart a bit of a release. Slowing it down, slowing it down, slowing it down. So let's bring the arms into our Wuji posture. So for this one, you can have your arms resting at the side, you can have them facing the floor, or you can have them cupped in front of you. In fact, let's go straight to our 3 treasures stances. So we'll connect to the earth in our Wuji position, so we're slightly sinking in the tailbone, lifting in the crown, keeping a nice straight spine, relaxed in the shoulders, the back body, the elbows and the wrists, with awareness in the hands. And we're going to bring our awareness to the soles of our feet, to the crown of the head, palms of the hands. So we're aware of our extremities as we now draw all that awareness into the centre of the abdomen. So we're breathing in, you could imagine a ball of light in the centre of the abdomen, just to help the mind to sink. It's just to bring awareness to that part of the body, and to give the mind something to focus and anchor in, save it wandering off. Notice the breath rise and fall. Where does it land in the body and the abdomen? And we're just going to concentrate at this point in connecting to the earth, connecting to the lower body, the ground beneath you. Feeling connected to that nice strong foundation. We just hold these for 30 seconds or a minute and build them up. And in doing so, we can start to build these postures are about creating the space for energy to just build, to flow freely, and to feel that level of connection as we bring the arms up to connect to nature. So if you've got a favourite park, animals, the natural world, could even be other people that you love. You can imagine that connection. You could imagine breathing into a sunset, watching at the horizon line, breathing that into the heart, in through them palms, palms linked to the heart in the centre. Let's take those arms and open them like we're holding a chalice above our head. And this time, still lifting, sinking in the tailbone, lifting in the crown, slight tuck of the chin. We're going to imagine connecting to the skies, those vast blue skies, imagining those of us in the UK at the minute. In Qigong, connecting to the heavens, it's just connecting to that sense of space and spaciousness, the energy of stars and suns. Empty mind. And we're gathering that. And just imagine breathing deep into the middle of the head. You can imagine again a ball of light, purple, in the centre of your head, just to anchor your mind there. We're now going to bring that down to the heart. Imagine a red light and breathing into that. And finally down to the abdomen, breathing into the abdomen, a ball of white light, and sinking the awareness. Wonderful. Let's flow. So breathing in. I'm going to breathe out to let them hands trace over like a lake before you. Backs of their palms are going to come together as we go up. I'm going to push out at chest level. We're going to trace that moon again. So forming a moon, coming to the bottom, and then letting those hands wash over the surface of water again. At this point the backs of the palms come together. There's a slight wave in the spine as we come up and push out, standing a bit more upright as we trace that moon and down. Final time. Backs of the hands up, tracing forward through this earth flow, drawing the moon, hands go down. Right, let's do our earth flow then. Bring the arms up, pushing forward, and this time we're going to imagine we're in the centre of the earth, hands, palms facing outwards. And we're going to now turn the palms to face behind us, scoop around and bring that into ground in the centre, in your core. And then we're going to breathe in to lift up that earthy foundation energy, just that connection to the lower body. I'm going to let that earth us down. And we're going to whip, so we breathe in, but this time we don't push out. For our earth flow. Palms come together and out at the sides. So, again, breathing in, pushing forward. We're in the centre of the earth, palms face outwards. Turn the hands to face behind, scoop around, ground it in. Breathe in to form that ball of earthy energy. A sense of groundedness, and let that groundedness wash right the way through you. Breathing in as we wave and out. Just stand for a second and a breath. And let's go on to our nature flow. Backs of the palms come together, pushing out forward, and this time we do like a breaststroke movement from the chest to scoop behind us, and again we ground that down into this Qua, our lower dantian. This time we're going to breathe in and scoop up. We're imagining it coming from the horizon, and we're going to take our palms and touch the palms touching those fingertips right on the level of the heart. Breathing in, let the elbows drop into the heart. And breathing out, let the backs of the arms fall down. And now we're going to wave and whip. So we breathe in, wave up the spine, palms come to kind of the cheek kind of level jaw, and we go and we release. A gentle wave. Breathe in and settle it down. Breathe in, collect the energy and let it wash over the surface of water. Backs of the palms come together. Pushing forward, breaststroke round, scooping all the way round and ground it down. Breathe in to collect it from the horizon, and breathe out, let the fingertips touch onto the chest level. Breathing that in deeply into the heart, or that red ball of light. Backs of the palms fall away and we breathe out. It's time again, we wave and whip, breathing in. Always following your own breath. Forming that ball. And letting it wash over the surface of water as we go into our final heaven flow. So we breathe in, breathe out. And this time we go up around and we open our palms like we did at the start of the heaven flow, so the palms are facing each other and they stay facing in that direction, upright, until they come to this point where they turn right the way around to face behind, scoop around behind us, ground and anchor that in. And this time the arms are going to come all the way back up the sides, retracing the steps, but this time when they get to here, they're going to carry on gathering from above us and washing purple light into the centre of the head. Breathing in, bring the elbows together and breathe out, back to the palms, release. Let's wave and whip. Gather a new Qi ball and let it wash over the surface of water. Back to the palms together. Pushing out. Arms go up. Palms facing each other and they stay that way, coming down to the sides while we turn the palms to face behind. Scoop around and ground down. Take those palms to the sides and gather the energy above us and let it wash into the centre of the head. Breathing into a purple light in the head and breathe out to release. Breathing in, let's wave and whip. Final time, final release. Breathing in and out. Let's come back to Wuji and just notice how you feel. Lifting in the crown, tucking at the chin. Let's draw down the heavens. The arms just go out to the sides and just letting purple light wash through the whole body. Again. Purple light scanning through the whole body, releasing any residual tensions or tightness and just letting everything settle down. Final time. Slightly elongate the breath on these, always follow your own, just to bring the mind and the body into that calm state. As we slow the breath, it slows the mind, drawing in whatever quality of energy you need right now and bring it palms. So you bring in the web of the thumb and the first finger together on each hand and over your abdomen. We're just going to circle over the abdomen, Bring those legs together, and pine sways in the breeze to finish. So taking a few deep abdominal breaths to centre our practice, elbows drop, crown lifts, and just notice how you feel as you breathe deep into the abdomen. Relaxed yet alert from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes, spacious. Letting the body rock and sway like bamboo in the wind. You can stay in this place as long as feels comfortable to you before taking those legs slightly wider apart. And we're going to draw in up the right hand side, circle round and down the left, just tracing the large intestine again, just bringing some more wakefulness back to the body. Final nice deep breath in to consolidate, and release with an audible sigh. Namaste everyone, thank you for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you again for next week's class, where we're going to revisit what we've already done and find what feels good in that. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you same time, same place. Take good care everyone.